If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
Blah, blah, blah.
Sending out good vibes.
Blah, blah,
Good vibes.
blah.
Good vibes.
Blah, blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grand America Show. We're coming at you this week with Dr. Edith Ubuntu Chan. This is another one from, this got to be almost a month old. Our last one was old as well because we did all these interviews leading up to the trip and then to make up for the time we missed doing interviews and that. So I think this is the last one, and then we'll be back to post-trip interviews. We do still have our Easter Island wrap up to put together. We're also having Alejandro on this month, who is our guide on Rapa Nui. So he's going to come on the show, which is going to be exciting. Just sort of working out a date with him. You know what? It's not so bad because he's in the same time zone as me, which is nice. And then we also recorded a bonus episode that'll come out in the next few days with Brandon Powell and Dave Matheson, who are both coming to our solstice at the Serpent Mound event here, Contact at the Cabin, coming up in a month and 7 days. So a month and a week. So that'll be good. And we got this great chat with Dr. Edith and Easter Island app. Like I say, we're still going to put together that Easter Island app. I still haven't pulled the footage off of Ian's cameras yet. I got all yours now, but we'll put together an Easter Island episode and show you some pictures and some videos and let you know what where we're at, what we came up with from the trip. The other, I guess, it's maybe exciting thing, but if you do come to the Serpent Mound on the 21st on the solstice day, we'll all be heading over to the festival grounds because I'll be giving my presentation at noon, which was going to be Adam and Eve and the Great Reset, how an ancient cataclysm warning was silenced for 50 years. But I think I'm going to have to take off the how an ancient cataclysm warning was silenced for 50 years. Because it's becoming clear there's just no way I can get to that in an hour. I can't get through because I've got to come into this assuming that everyone hasn't been on Randall trips or watched all Randalls. A bunch of them have, but some of them haven't. So it's like, once I time it out with you, I'll have a better idea. But to go through all the stuff I've got to get through and get into the Chan Thomas stuff.
But isn't that the important part, the Chan Thomas stuff, in a way? Because it was the silence part. That was the conspiratorial part, kind of. Or?
Well, only if I take off that. Only if I have that subtitle. If I don't have that subtitle, it's just Adam and Eve and the Great Reset. But I might still. What might happen is it might just end up being like a few minutes at the end. That is that is enough to get the gist of it. And then it's like a to be continued type thing, you know? Or I email them and tell them I need 2 hours instead of 1. But then just thinking of 2 hours is like super, like you're shaking your head already. You know what I mean? It's like 1 hour is like, okay, this is doable. What if I do it all and it's only been an hour and 15 minutes? Now I got to fill 45 minutes. So I'd rather just stick with an hour the first time. 2 hours seems suddenly overwhelming because it's not like people are asking questions and shit. You know, you're just on stage giving her. So
yeah.
But when we do our dry run, that'll give me a better idea how that's going to work out. So people check that out if that's something they're into. The other thing, the Malta trip is approaching 50% capacity. I would say a lot of people jumping on that in the last couple weeks, the last 2 or 3 weeks. So if that's something you want to get in on, get that deposit in, and because it's not a cheap trip, it's going to be an amazing trip, not a cheap trip. But if you get that deposited now, you can do. We get you on the monthly payment program, so it's not so bad. And I guess the other exciting news on the tour front is we talked to Alejandro, our guide there, and we're still waiting on some exact date pinpointing because he's waiting for the cruise ship schedule to make sure that we don't end up there at the same time as a cruise ship. But we go back to Rapa Nui. I mean, it was an amazing place. We're going to go back in 2028 and do it in April of 2028, same time. It was pretty amazing. We had great weather. It was hot, but not super hot. The water was amazing. And it wasn't too crowded. I talked to him about rolling it back a little bit into our winter, and he was like, I guess like January, February, March are pretty crowded around here.
Oh,
so
okay.
like we're waiting to find out when the last cruise ship comes through, and then we'll be after that.
Well, let me just backtrack a bit because I want to make sure we mention Malta is like Sicily, Sardinia, and Malta, 13-day mega tour, April 26th to May 9th, 2027, just to give you those details. Mega
That's a good
lifts.
point, because Malta is like the smallest part of all that. It's like a footnote on the rest of the trip.
Megaliths, catacombs, volcanoes, a cinematic journey through the ancient Mediterranean with Darren and Graham of Gramerica. And an awesome group of people, which is half full already. So lots of cool stuff.
People.
Yeah.
And and I haven't even added that it sounds like Mo's going to come on the list. So
Mo is one of the guys from Egypt, right?
Yeah, Mo's the guy from Egypt. Yeah, not Yusuf, but Mo. The guy he doesn't really do a lot of talking. He's the man in the back.
Yeah.
But we've bumped into him a few times now. Egypt. Was it just Egypt and Cosmic Summit? Or I feel like for some reason I thought there was someplace else, but it might just be because I have him on my Facebook.
Yeah, maybe.
So he's pretty active on Facebook. I mean, spring seems to have sprung proper. I finally was able to get out in the yard after winter. This place was trashed after all the snow melted, and the wind and everything sort of blows in. You got to walk up and down, find the trash, get the shed sort of started to clean up. I got the outside of the shed cleaned. I got to clean the inside of the shed still. I have ascertained that I do need another shed. I need like that same one. I need your system eventually, but for now, if I just had another one of the ones I got. And it's already time to get the boat ready. Like the wife is already after me to go fishing. Fishing season opened 4 days ago. I was actually looking at someone posted on Facebook a picture of back home like yesterday, and the lake is still frozen solid. And I'm like getting the boat ready already. I was like, fucking Alberta, baby. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed the same thing. I'm, the trees blown branches everywhere. So when I got back from Easter Island, I had left in the winter. There was snowing. It was snowing for like a week into the trip. It came back and was all melted. Still cold a bit, but spring is here. So the raking the lawns and all that. But yeah, the shed is great because it's fully wood, right? It's just stick built. So you can just put hangers and rafters in there and like add your own specific storage needs in there. Pretty customizable, and it was pretty easy to build.
I was thinking of talking to my landlord because there's those old trailers over there, It's like, could I just like go clean one of those up and put a door on it and have a little shop over there?
Cut a whole front off it, and
even just a door, I don't need it to be a garage so much as just a place to put stuff. I don't even need to be able to do stuff in it. Honestly, I can adjust around that because if the garage ain't heated, you can't really do much in the winter. I want to do the body work on my truck, but it's like, man, I've done a lot of body work when I was a younger man, and it was always it was a pain in the ass, and I was like in a shop with lights and all that proper stuff. I can't imagine trying to do it in the driveway. And when you get down to those last few days there, and it's like if it rains, you're fucked, basically. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I just sprayed another coat of the I forget what it's called, but it's basically the specialty rust paint. made specially for Russ, so I just paint that over it. Got more and more black spots on it this year. What are you going to do? And here's a synchro for you. I mean, I went to Lola's concert tonight for her. She's in the band, and then she's also in like a side band. The school let the side bands play some songs too. They were side band. I think they're called Fruit Punch. Got to play a song, and then I went through all the other grades of bands and did all that stuff. And I was leaving, and someone slaps me on the back, and I turn around, and it's my buddy Alvin, who I've been hunting with for years. I've never really seen him outside of hunting season ever. This is probably the first time I've seen him outside of hunting season. I was just hunting with him actually because it was spring goose season. So there's a couple times I seen him over spring goose, and then I expected not to see him until fall. So I bump into him at the school concert and figure out which kid his is, and they're in the same class. Which is, I mean, it's not like he's my hunting buddy because we live in the same neighborhood and our kids are
exactly.
I live fucking 55 minutes away from the school. It's a trek to go in there, and Lola's in there because it's a through marriage thing, and it so happens to be where one of my, like, literally in my hunting chat, there's 5 of us. So there's me and 4 hunting buddies, and one of them we have kids in the same class. So,
that's cool.
Yeah. Synchro, maybe? I don't know.
It's probably not as meaningful as a synchro should be, but I mean, I'll push back because you push back on synchros of mine for decades.
Well, yeah, you should push back. It shouldn't be like everybody gets a ribbon, but it's more of a coincidence maybe than a synchro, or maybe it is a synchro. Let us know what you think. Spam Graham, send us your synchros. It's been a while since someone sent us a synchronicity. We have an episode with John Hawk coming out, Jonathan 12 Hawks, coming out in a couple weeks probably, where we'll talk about the origin of Graham's Mike Hawk synchro. I was thinking about it. I was like, don't get too much into this story with John Hawk, because I think there's a bunch of like derogatory crap and childish joking involved with the synchro that's been led up to.
I forgot all about that. It's a good thing you didn't tell me about it before.
I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
his name is John 12 Hawks, and that's yeah.
I can't remember what episode that would be.
I tried to find it. I tried to search it online, like, Grimerica, John 12 Hawks, Synchronicity. I couldn't find it. I mean, I remember where I was living. It was early on. It must have been pretty early on. Maybe I just thought
it might be Len Caston.
I did see that one pop up.
It might be Len Caston. Because I was listening to it, and that's when we were doing the "I'm loving it" joke.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I can hear myself giggling while I was saying it. That was our little inside joke, because Len did the interview from McDonald's because he had to go somewhere with Wi-Fi. He had to find some place with Wi-Fi, so it turned out to be a McDonald's. That's where we found out about Barack Obama going to Mars through Project Stargate, which was, I think it was Project Serpo, or no, was it Planet Serpo or Project Serpo? But it was basically Stargate.
Project Serpo.
And Obama had served like a few years on Mars, is what I believe. I also was digging up the old Karen Hudez interview again, where she's talking about pedophile bankers. I mean, that's maybe episode 13 or 14, but it's back there in the back catalog. There's some gems. I mean, it's no wonder we weren't surprised by like COVID and all this other bullcrap. We've been getting primed for it for a decade.
Yeah.
Well, so we already pimped the trips. We should, I guess, you need to support the show. Support's dropping off. Not great. Spring, don't forget about us. You just got your tax returns. So A, sign up for a trip. B, support the show. Or maybe in the opposite direction, support the show, then come on a trip, whatever you want to do. I mean, before I get into that, we mentioned the payment plan right? Easter Island, $5,000. That's a lot of money, but it's a once in a lifetime trip. It includes those trips from flights from Santiago. Basically, you get to Santiago and you don't have to worry about nothing the rest of the time. We'll feed you, drive you around, house you, get you on the plane, get you off of the plane. And it's 2 years away almost. So if you make that deposit now, you get on that monthly thing for like, $150 a month, and you barely notice it. And next thing you know, it's time to go to Rapa Nui. I mean, it really is. If you're only ever going to do one CAC, I would say that's one of the ones to think about, which is weird to say, considering a month ago we were sitting here saying it's once in a lifetime. We're never doing this again. And honestly, coming back, I remembered why I was saying that. For some reason, the way by kind of zipped by, getting there kind of went by, seemed to go by a little quicker, a little smoother than coming back. I didn't have that stupid layover, and fucking American Airlines won't touch your bags, and I was so sick of getting in lines. It's like tonight at the concert. I was sick of clapping. It's like, okay, we clap for these kids when they come out. We clap for them when we're done. And then the dude makes us clap for him again, and then again. And then this dude brings up the other teacher, and we got to clap for her. And then when she gets up here, she's like, let's give him a hand. I bet you it was 50 times, man. For like, and we're not talking about like, 30 groups of kids doing. There was 9 acts. There was 9 acts, and I clapped 50 times. By the end, I was like, I'm not clapping anymore unless it's for the kids. That's it. When the kids are done their show, I'll clap. I'm not clapping for these.
You weren't doing this?
No, I wasn't going to do that.
Were people doing that at all?
Have you ever seen Mr. D?
I don't know.
You should watch Mr. D.
But was anybody snapping their fingers instead and clapping?
I don't think so. No, that'd be retarded. Why would anyone do that?
Have you seen them? Oh my God.
I haven't seen this.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's creepy.
Did you see this at the Rush game?
No.
Where have you seen this?
Online?
On the line. You spent too much time online. Anyway, support the show. GrowAmerica.ca/support. Oh, speaking of on the line, I was on the line today on the, what's it called, Graham? We should give it a shout out.
Tea and coffee or something like that?
Tea and coffee.
Jason Levine?
The Jason Levine show. Yeah. I was on his morning show ranting about politics. One of our people found it in the wild, which is always kind of interesting. Hopefully that doesn't start happening more. Okay. Support the show, please. We need support. We're going to go back to this one, back into April for this one. $10, recurring $10 a month.
Nice.
From David Truman.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. David the Noble. We appreciate it. Couldn't do without you. Let me go down the list. There's a bunch of pictures of passports and that kind of stuff.
I got an email in the meantime from Sean. He says, hey guys, thanks as always for the fun and informative shows you publish. Another donation will be on its way shortly. I listened to the interview about Machiavelli Nation. So that was an interview that came out a couple weeks ago with
Adam. He's coming to CAC.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was seriously a great book and a great chat with Hanum.
Yeah, he's coming to CAC with his brother, I think.
When Darren says CAC, he means Solstice at the Serpent Mound.
Contact at the cabin.
But the Solstice one is what you're talking about, right?
The next event. Yeah, that's the one he's coming to. Maybe more. I mean, people have a habit. Listen, I mean, is there a better advertisement for Contact at the Cabin than on the Easter Island trip out of 20 people? How many new people, Graham?
2.
90% of the people have been on trip. I would say, I don't even think there was another person there out of those 2 that's only been on one trip with us. I think every other person has been on at least 2 trips with us. Most of them 3, 4, or 5. So, if you're thinking about it, it'll be a bunch of your best friends could be right on the other end of the shitty plane ride. Speaking of shitty plane rides, I got my new satchel today. I got the same one as Kyle had, but without the gay flowers. Sorry, Kyle. I just got the black one. I need something. I almost lost between receipts and passports and stupid little pieces of paper that they're like, hey, if you lose this, you can't leave the country. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean, it's a good thing I had Shauna's because, you know, I don't like to leave that stuff in the room for some reason. And especially in that environment, you never know when you're going to need your passport. So you kind of want to have your passport at certain times with you. And then the intuitive thing is to just keep that. What are you just going to leave a little? It's like a receipt. It's like you go to the fucking store and you get your receipt. And they're like, if you lose this receipt over the next week, you're fucked. Well, you're trying to save 100 other receipts and all this other stuff. So you can just leave a receipt on the thing at the hotel and hope that they don't throw it out on your something like that. So I ended up tucking them in my wallet, tucking them away down in the little corner. And originally Shauna was going to hold hers too. And I forget what happened, but something happened and her purse. Oh, you know what it was when we went fishing? We all got soaking wet on the fucking horrendous fishing trip. That was fucking, or the fishing trip from hell. We got soaked, like fucking drenched head to fucking toe, and her purse got soaked. So we had to rush back and take out all these little receipts and like try and get a picture of them quick because it's like they get wet. You got to take a picture of them while they're still wet because when they dry, it's like gone. And this is the same thing the PDI's on. And if you lose that, you're not allowed to leave the country. So, A, it's going to turn, you'll get out of the country. You're going to have to pay a fine and you're going to miss your fucking flight. So, anyway, I can't remember why I was talking about that. Oh, yeah. So that's why I got the satchel because I was like, there's just a bunch of times on this trip I was panicked about wallet, a credit card. I mean, look at me, dude. Look at you. I mean, you're the ultimate end of the story. Is just
I had a whole system to hold my credit cards and my American cash and the what are they, pesos down there? Pesos. And then on the last leg of the trip, my system was like just in my front pocket, like 2 credit cards and cash just in case I need to get anything, right? And
they think it made it to Canada.
And I had my passport in there too, and something happened. Like I can't remember if I took them out or I thought I was done with them, so I put them somewhere, and and then when I got up at your place, I had my earbuds in my pocket and nothing else. I'm like, where did that stuff go? I must have put it in my bag already or something, but I might have left it somewhere. Like, so my sister broke down after 2 days of travel. Yeah, I had my passport. Yeah,
they got separated somewhere.
Yeah,
Dallas.
Well, I used them I went and bought a bunch of food in one of those little stores, right? I tried to get rid of some of the U.S. cash. And I put them on the counter and was going to grab it after I was like going into my pocket. Maybe that, or I don't know. And then I had this thought that like, I don't need them anymore. So I'm going to put them away in my luggage. Like, cause we're at the end of the trip, right? All I need is I don't need that American stuff. Then I can grab my Canadian stuff. And I just misplaced them completely. I thought they must be at your house. I thought it was like I fucking was in a dream and I just don't know what happened to them. So super annoying to me, like, because I had a system and the system failed. Like,
I haven't fully cleaned out the basement yet, so you could still be redeemed. Maybe literally like under the couch or in a cushion.
Maybe I tried to put them in my bed. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so this is like there's multiple and it's always like the same thing on the Azores because I have that shitty Egypt backpack still, and I got that one pocket I keep my stuff in, and there's just like a few times where you're just like, where's fucking this? And then I find it someplace else, and then I seen Kyle with that bag, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna get one of those. One pocket's gonna be just for I have a little pencil case in there.
And you know what? It fits in your front so that it's just right there, right? Like if anybody tried to grab it, it's right there. If you get in and out, it's right there. Yeah.
So I went out and got the exact same one.
Nice.
And it was cheap too, like $60 or something like that. $60 or $70 for a Patagonia. That's like the only Patagonia thing in the store that was under $100, I think. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be, because it's mech, right? So I'm like, this is going to be a fucking $300 bag. So much for this plan. But it turned out to be surprisingly affordable. I also went downtown. I mean, dude, I've been to Calgary 3 times since I got back from Easter Island. That's probably as many times as I was into Calgary this year before I went to Easter Island. I had to go Friday night for my brother-in-law's. So I went Thursday, met up with a couple of boys I used to work with. Got some, because one of them was selling the nicotine pouches.
Oh, really?
Huh. Yeah, he orders them from Europe, I think. Because you're not supposed to be allowed to do it, but he just says there's something else. So I was going to try out some of his. Got to see Dakota and a couple of the guys I used to work with. So I was like, I'll pick up Lola from school. And so I went right downtown. Not downtown, I went to Sate. And then Friday I had to go to Bob's birthday, which was like fucking craft beer, dude, downtown on like 11th Avenue, rooftop. The beauty of it was that they had like the end of the rooftop patio reserved for it. So we very much had like our own little area. We didn't have to, because by like 8:30, it's Friday night. By like 8:30, tables are like, dude, down. You can see people that they're all doing shots and singing. And it's like, oh my God, man. Nightmare to get down there. The traffic was horrendous. I was like, is there a Flames game going on? There was like a weird little street market in Inglewood going on. And you know what I noticed driving into to Sate going down 16th Avenue? Is I was like, I might as well be in fucking Chile with these roads. How can we be sitting on the fucking 3rd largest oil reserve on the planet and my roads are the same as fucking Chile? Maybe worse.
I mean, condition-wise, your construction or like
today?
what?
No, condition. Just like bam, bam, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's like I'm on the fucking dirt road going down the Trans-Canada fucking highway. You know, it's like literally there's potholes that you gotta dodge because if you fucking hit them, man, it's gonna be you're in. I mean, Strathmore's just as bad. We know where they are because we're here. But it's like, well, what is going on? How do we have another 294 million to send to Ukraine? My roads could use that money. You know, just a couple of them. I'll pick. You know, I won't even pick the ones around my house. Just like, how about the fucking Trans-Canada through Calgary? You know, through 3rd, 4th major city and our one major road. We got one of them. Can we just have that not be a piece of shit? Just the one road we got? Just that one? Guess not. Anyway, and then I had to go back today.
If you want to hear more rants like that about from Darren and I, we do a roundup on Wednesdays.
Tomorrow.
Outlawed.
Tomorrow. And it's on the YouTube too, because it's very visual heavy.
It's visual heavy, yeah.
Very visual heavy. Anyway, you got to support the show. Grimerica.ca.
Yeah, you were looking for more supporters to thank.
Get back. Yeah, we also have Vegas Jackson to thank. $20.
What a name. That's awesome.
That's a good name. Be a good porn star name. Bunch of Easter Island pictures. Oh, yeah. The wife is still upset with you because she's still sick. And
hey, you know that I warned her, right? I told her when I was on the plane, I go, I'm going to be making these noises with my nose. So I warned her. I said, I'm going to have my headphones on. And
that one was waking me up. Because sometimes I like wake up and I don't know what woke me up. Were you making fucking noises beside me too?
No, I mean, I was on the window seat.
Next time, no, the first flight you were in the aisle and I was.
No, that wasn't me. No, that wasn't. No, this was on the way back because my nose was all messed up.
Next time I'm gonna book you in a different row. I mean, I was kind of hoping in my naive mind, I'm just like, oh, maybe it'll be like, well, just like a bunch of empty rows again, and like,
oh yeah,
jump into one and lay down. There's like not one empty seat on one plane all the way up.
And when I get the aisle seat, my shoulders up against your shoulders, and there's no room for us.
No,
we're not even big. We're not even big guys, and there are people that the stewardesses are constantly bumping into me.
You're kind of a big guy, but I'm not a big guy. I'm
wide,
dude. You know. Well, yeah, wide's a problem on a plane. You should fly with your Huscular shirt. But did you see that dude like in front of us and up a little? That dude was pushing 300 pounds. It's like you're weighing my bag. You're weighing my bag, but this
Well,
you do.
it's for the people that are throwing the bags around. They can't have.
Yeah, no, I get it. But that, I mean, the point being, how do you even get into that seat? Like, think of a dude whose ass is twice the size of yours.
To be honest with you, he looks more comfortable than me because my feet.
He looks like he just melts in, but it can't feel like
dangling there, and then I don't have the proper traction on my feet, so then my thighs get sore.
It's like a reverse beanbag chair. But you're the beanbag. But it looks comfy, but you know that thing's just poking into him all over the place. We've got Leanne Nearin, $50.
Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Some more Easter Island pictures. There's the fishing trip from hell. There's the mug shots. Did you get the mug shot coming back in? You didn't have to talk to anyone, right?
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. But I didn't have to talk to anybody, no.
I prefer that system. You know, as much as we push back against like the digital ID and this and that, man, if we get to a system where I just like show something my passport and don't see one of these jackasses from then until the time I get to the fucking Uber, there's a serenity to that I can't help but find somewhat attractive. Okay, I swear there's at least one more here. Where we got here? There it is. Ooh, can't remember if this is the lady that doesn't want us to say her name. I don't think it is. You didn't get any emails not to say any names?
I don't think so.
All right, so this is maybe for now. I'll just say it's Victoria P, and then you can email us a note and we'll read it because it's $77.77 one-time donation.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, stuff like that really helps. And that's the last one. So that was like 3 weeks worth of donations, almost a month. So that was like the first one was from April 16th and it's almost May 16th. So I think we could do better than that, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm an optimist. America.ca/support. Sign up today. So I got these from the Res.
Huh.
I found 10 milligram ones on the Res.
Wow, good.
Ordered online. Half the price of what they charged me.
Ordered online?
Yeah, it's probably legal. But it's delivered? The gray area because it's the Res. I bought it from ResSmokes.ca or whatever the website is. It was twice as strong. A little more than twice as strong. This is 10 milligrams. The ones I was getting were 4. The ones I was getting were like $59 for one of these, and this is like $45 from the Res. Delivered right to my house, and they sent me a free carton of smokes. I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
Save you for the next trip. Everybody smokes.
It's like the welcome gift they gave me was a carton of smokes. This is the best website ever. I'll probably just throw them in the freezer and give them to my mom next time she comes down. Unless she quits smoking. Don't see that happening at this point. But yeah, I opened it up and I was like, and they're in separate packages too. So I hadn't opened these yet. I just opened the package. There's a carton of smokes.
Did you think you ordered the wrong thing for a sec? Or?
Well, I didn't connect the 2 dots for a second about the nicotine pouches, so I didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe I got drunk that karaoke night. Maybe I shipped myself some smokes from Easter Island. Pretty drunk by the end of that night. Did you go home early?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got pretty wild at the end. The island perverts were like trying to fuck us, and it was,
dude.
Not perverts. I didn't mean perverts. It's the what's it called?
It's okay. It's okay. Just keep it PG on the intro.
All right.
You're trying to sell more tickets, and then you say that.
Well, some people that'd be a selling point for some people. That'd be a selling point. I'm a married man, happily married man, and he was trying to get both of us. So that was he was probably just going through me to get to my wife at the end of the day. And he was like 4 times the size of me. He was like the dude from Moana, Maui. He was like drunk Maui. America.ca/support if you can, when you can. Do you have a bio?
I do, yeah. This is an amazing chat with Edith, Dr. Edith Ubuntu Chan, holistic medicine doctor, author, human potential coach, creator of Luminous Blindfold vision training, which activates our innate human ability to see beyond the physical senses. And she's also the creator of the Luminous Education Revolution, SuperWellness, and other consciousness expanding projects. I mean, honestly, I think this is like the leading edge of the science that we need to be paying attention to, teaching kids and people in general, but kids are easier to teach how to see without their eyes.
Seems like it. I'm not very good at it. And I mean, it's a good skill to have in case you ever go blind.
Yeah.
All right, guys, support the show. Enjoy the chat with Dr. Edith Ubuntu Chan.
Dr. Edith Ubuntu Chan, welcome to Grimerica. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited for this conversation. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, yeah, we are too. This will be great. I was super excited when I heard that you wanted to come on the show. We talked about some of this stuff a little while ago. I think it was with Caroline Corey with her movie Superhuman. She showed some of the blindfold stuff and it blew me away. Honestly, it blew me away. So we're looking forward to talking about that, but there's all kinds of other spiritual healing and stuff we can talk about as well. We've overlapped on a lot of the subjects that you teach over the years. So how are you doing today?
I'm great. So happy to be here. Yeah, for the audience, if you haven't seen Superhuman, highly recommend that film.
Well, let's talk about your website right away. We'll give the URL. Is it blindfold.vision?
Yeah, my website is actually dredithubuntu.com, but blindfold.vision takes you to the section of the website specifically about blindfold vision and mindsight.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. And then you have a bunch of other stuff in there too. Some luminous healing and some education. Do you want to just give us a summary of all the different things that you teach and that you have on there?
Well, you have a super sophisticated audience, probably a lot of other people listening that are OGs in the world of metaphysics and consciousness exploration and expansive possibilities. And yeah, I'm an OG too. So I've been, exploring all this stuff for many, many years. So my background is as a Chinese medicine doctor. And so as a Chinese medicine doctor, that got me really well trained in the energetic realms, and my Qigong practice went really deep. In 2003, I had the first of a series of mystical experiences. And when I came back from the first one, I started asking questions about the nature of reality, and we can go into the story if you like. But basically, because of all this multidimensional traveling and then becoming a parent, which forces you to not just be in the woo land, but get really practical with your life. My explorations turn into a lot of these programs that I offer that include high performance coaching, consciousness coaching, expansive abilities, different meditative practices, practices that allows us to be very practical in our lives too. So that it's not like you go into meditative realms, you go astral traveling to escape the density of the matrix. But how do you work with the matrix? how do you be a wizard in a land of the muggles and all of that, right? And also parenting and education. This new generation of what I call luminous kids. These kids are absolutely incredible what they're bringing into the world, So yeah, if you explore my website, you'll see that there's a lot of rich offerings of many different topics, all related to this consciousness.
And prosperity immersion too. Do you want to
Yes.
just touch on that?
Yeah, which is really important piece of the puzzle, because I've discovered that in the world of them truth seekers or truth seers, because we see the distortion patterns of this matrix reality, there's a part of us that wants to be like screw the system, like down with the man, so to speak. But then how is your life? If we don't have command of our time, our energy, our money, is not a really good life that we have, right? We still have these bodies. We still are in this life. So let's turn this life in a rich, beautiful way. And that requires that we have a certain skill set, a certain understanding, and a certain approach to clearing the limitation patterns that we've all been conditioned into. So the prosperity immersion has to do with a really beautiful way of synergizing our time, energy, money, a different consciousness where we're oriented to a flow of abundance and prosperity that goes far beyond money. It's like every aspect of life. How do we live in a perpetual flow state? Whereas a byproduct of it, life just is beautiful for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Kind of working within the system. There's nothing wrong with parallel systems too, but we still have to have one foot in here for a while, right?
Yeah, until this time that we're in requires so much skill, I feel like, because we're basically hospicing a collapsing world, and we're building parallel solutions, building a beautiful new one.
Wow.
So it's like this, it takes so much skill to be kind and gentle with ourselves and to play the different games that need to be played while knowing that you're not the game. Like, you recognize yourself as the witness of this game.
Yeah.
And you can go in and out of the video game consciously and play it beautifully and elegantly. So I think that's what's being called forth at this time.
Wow, that's so well said. That really resonates. It really does. So your mystical experiences, we can't just leave that, because were you already a Chinese medicine doctor when that happened, or did that lead you into that?
Yeah, it happened during Chinese medicine school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
was there a connection there?
Yeah. So, can I go way back with the storytelling?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, we love hearing people's stories. So
okay, so I grew up, most of my childhood was growing up in Hong Kong. When I was 4 years old, my dad was an entrepreneur. My mom ran a flower shop. They had very conventional normie lives. But my dad had this horrible back pain and nobody could help him. And my sister had this ankle sprain that kept getting swollen. And they tried doctor to doctor. They tried all these things and nothing was helping. And so I'm 4 years old, and I remember them debating about going to some Chinese Qigong healer. And finally, they're like, what the heck? Let's just go. Like, what do we have to lose? He doesn't charge that much. We've heard that he helps people with all kinds of incurable stuff. So this is in the early 1980s, before the internet, before like PubMed database, like even in a Chinese culture, Qigong and Chinese healing was not like, a lot of people were like, we want modern medicine. That's some fringe, like, what if it's a scam? What if he's a snake oil salesman? There was like a lot of skepticism. But I remember we went to this guy's place, and in one single session, this Qigong healer completely got rid of my dad's back pain. And in one session, my sister's ankle sprain that was swollen came right down. I'm like 4 years old. 4-year-olds are amazing. They're my favorite because, when you're 4, you barely just start to have language to articulate what's going on for you, but you haven't been indoctrinated into the matrix yet. So you just see reality as it is. And the veils are still thin. So you remember your pure, pristine blueprint of how things are supposed to be. Right. So I remember being 4 and saying, like, what a load of BS. All these people that have big degrees and pieces of paper on the wall couldn't help you. And this guy in the back alleyway basically charging pennies in one session fixed the whole problem, right? So I'm like, when I grow up, that's what I'm going to do. And so I told all the aunties and uncles, and they were like, what a crazy kid this is. And I just kept telling everybody, I'm going to be a Chinese medicine Qigong healer when I grow up. And they said, there's no career there. Look at that guy. He doesn't even make any money. You want to go to school, get good grades, and, become successful and buy a house and all these things, right? And this was the early 80s. So it was just all about like capitalism and materialism and all of that, Madonna, So after many months, they said, no, that's not possible. Plus, you're a girl. You have to be a boy, apprentice with some lineage, and it's just not possible. So I said, well, when I'm laying in bed at night, I stare at the ceiling. I see orbs. I see portals open. I see the cosmos. I see all these things. And I was trying to explain to adults, and nobody knew what I was talking about. They're like, oh, what an imagination this kid has, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll be an astronaut when I grow up, because I want to understand the cosmos. And so they're like, yeah, go study math and engineering and science and be really good at math and science, and you might be an astronaut when you grow up. So they're trying to encourage me in that direction, which is actually quite open-minded of my family to say, like, oh, a girl could become an astronaut, girl power. So they were open-minded in that way. So I got really good at math and science, and fast forward, I started doing software. Right out of undergrad, I had a software job. And without going into all the details, I had this moment where I had a flash forward, flashback in this big meeting with all these high ups that were like trying to put me on a management executive track because I was quite good at my work. And I looked around and I was like, wait a minute, I'm living the wrong life. This isn't my life. I don't want to be like any of these software people when I grow up. They look unhappy, unfulfilled. They are very smart, very kind, but they don't look like they're very content or fulfilled at all. Like, I don't want to be like these people. So this was in 2001. I cold turkey quit my very successful software career and just went to Chinese medicine school. So, as you can imagine, my hardworking immigrant parents were real happy with that. It was like they're out of the house, and I went to Harvard, graduated magna cum laude. I had a really successful beginning of a software career, and I said, I'm just going to go and become a broke hippie healer. I'm going to throw it all away and do that. And in fact, it took about 10 years before my family started coming around and forgiving me for being, I wouldn't say that I was like shaming them or like embarrassing them, but it was kind of like that, like I was going to throw all of that away and become a broke hippie healer. But that's what I did. I was a broke grad student in San Francisco studying Chinese medicine, apprenticing with healers, and just like searching for truth. So in 2003, I'm partially in Chinese medicine school. And I had really fallen in love with Qigong practice. It was like, it felt like home to just, are you guys aware of Qigong?
Yep.
So for the audience that have maybe heard about Qigong but haven't experienced it, the way that I define Qigong is any kind of practice where there's basically 3 things. Number 1, you're very conscious about your attention and intention. In Chinese, we call that yi nian, your intention. You focus your intention in a very specific way. The second is breathing. some kind of deep breathing practice where you are charging up the chi field and working with the flow of the chi in a very specific, intentional way. And the third is either you're seated in a posture, standing in a posture, or moving your body in a certain way, different shapes and mudras and so on, that gets the circuitry to assist that intentional flow of energy. So basically, you could do all of life as a Qigong practice. Be very aware of your attention and intention, be aware of your breath, and be aware of the specific flow of the circuitry of energies, right? All of life could be a Qigong practice. So I loved it. In Chinese medicine school, just like any other medical training, there's tons of just like memorizing, regurgitation, jumping through hoops, taking lots of exams. But in Qigong class, you actually get out of theory and have the direct experience of the energetic realms, you know, and there's nothing like direct experiencing.
Yeah.
And these days, I think the way that the internet just over bombards us with so much information, I think we're all hungry to just embody the direct experience of all this stuff that we've heard about and researched. Like, we kind of don't need more information. I think we could all use more embodiment and direct experiencing.
I like it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So what was your mystical experience like?
So in Qigong class, this teacher that was teaching in our school, she was so awesome that I started studying additional, more advanced classes with her outside of school. So this is in San Francisco. And she had one of these advanced classes where we went so deep. In this particular class, I went deeper and deeper and deeper. And every practice, I would feel very peaceful. But this particular practice, I went so deep that one moment I'm following her guided practice. The next moment, the whole thing just exploded into trillions of pieces of love, light, complete formlessness. I experienced myself the size of the cosmos. There was no time. There was no space. There was no identity of some girl called Edith Chan sitting in a classroom somewhere. That just all vanished. This was in 2003. I hadn't read any metaphysical books at that time. I had not looked on the internet of anybody having such an experience. I had no clue what was going on, but somehow it felt like home. Somehow I knew that I had returned home to our natural state. Somehow in that moment of experiencing myself in this space, beyond time, beyond space, total formlessness, trillions of pieces of love and light, I just knew that I was home. And this was our true reality, that the other one was like a temporary fake reality. And so the thing is that for a long time, I didn't know how to even articulate what happened. But the teacher had said before in the meditation, you know, in a meditative state, often it's good to bring a question because you can get a lot of good answers in a meditative state. So I had a question, but the answer was like instantly, like, it was like, you can't even ask the question. The answer was so instantly available in a spherical 360-degree, multidimensional, all facet, all angles of the question was answered. And it was like any question that you could possibly come up with is instantly met with this omniscient answering.
Wow.
So it's like, well, there's no more lack. There's no lack. Like, how could there's no more questions? There's infinite answers. And so I used to say I was in this so much love, so much peace, so much beauty, so much goodness, but it's actually complete and utter contentment. That's a more accurate description of what the state is. So I have no clue how long that state lasted because there's no reference of time. But eventually, in this space of complete bliss, complete love, complete contentment, there was this distant little voice. And then I was like, what is that voice? Oh, there's a meditation teacher somewhere in San Francisco talking and guiding some meditation. And then there was this moment, I was like, wait a minute. There's some girl named Edith sitting in a classroom somewhere in San Francisco. There was like a should we maybe go back there? It was like, should this it go back to that it? That was the experience. So eventually this consciousness, we'll call it, chose to go back to the physical experience of an Edith Chan sitting in a classroom somewhere in San Francisco. And so it was like, squeeze, 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 and densify it and land it back into this spaceship right here. It was just like such an absurd experience of taking infinity and squeezing it back into the finite.
Wow.
And taking this complete formless state back into the physicality of this physical form. It was so absurd that it felt almost like painful. And when it actually landed, it was like uncontrollable, just like faucets, avalanches of tears just gushing out from the eyeballs, like uncontrollable shaking and tears and tears and tears. And it also took some years before I could articulate what was happening there. It was like a clashing of the most intense, beautiful love, gratitude, appreciation for having gone home. To realize just how potent, powerful, beautiful our true natural state is. And then this intense, like, pissed offness. Like, this place is built on a bunch of lies. It's all backwards and upside down here. You know, and there was grief, there was sadness, there was anger, there was anguish. There was so many different emotions that I don't even have the words to articulate that clashing of these realities that I experienced. But the result is that it turned me into a truth seeker after that, because it didn't make sense. Like, why is this place so backwards and upside down? You know, so I became a truther, like overnight. I started seeking the nature of reality, reading thousands of books about metaphysics, like how does this place work? And that took me into all kinds of rabbit holes over the course of a couple of decades of seeing, why is this place built so backwards and upside down? And is there a cosmic joke at play? Like, what's going on here? And yeah, that's how I turned into the kind of person that has this kind of conversation with people like you.
Wow, that's so amazing. What a good description. And I mean, don't forget that part of that time in our culture was very, like, I remember a skeptical movement and a materialist movement. Like the new atheists were kind of pushing their way through. There was a big sort of movement on debunking anything metaphysical as well. So you were, you know, sort of coming through at that time as well, where there was a bit of a battle over the reality. You know, there was still a bunch of people, like, I think we're way past that now, but it took 10 or 15 years for that whole thing to collapse. But it also reminds me of so many of these psychedelic experiences that people have too. So it's very similar to them feeling like this infinite love and that it's realer than real life. And when they come back, it's not the same. And then I think about the ancients, you know, the ancients must have had some of these experiences too, which turned into who knows what back, you know, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
So,
once you open to, there's so many wonderful technologies for accessing the state. So the writing is on the wall that the mass scale waking up to the true reality has to happen. Yeah. I think we're like right at the edge of that 100th monkey effect right now.
Yes, I agree. There's just no holding it back anymore, really. Yeah. What a fascinating time. What a fascinating time to watch all this happen.
Then what happens?
Then what happens? Well, yeah. What happens when the 100th monkey happens?
We get to just have fun with life. I mean, what I've come to discover is that I am already basically living in that reality, as are you and many people in your audience. But it's just like you see your friends and family that haven't cracked through. And so they're like living in an adjacent reality. And then eventually what happens is like, I think we get to learn a lot in life through contrast and through suffering, through doing all bumbling along and tripping up on life and doing the stuff that we don't want. And then we learn and evolve and we grow in wisdom. And at some point, you don't have to bumble quite as much. You learn through wisdom more than you learn through suffering.
Yep.
It's not like we're going to stop learning. We're going to keep evolving, but we don't have to like be quite as masochistic in our evolution and growth, you know?
You don't have to hit bottom necessarily to get there.
Yeah.
You can, but you don't
grateful
have
for every stage of our evolution. You know, I'm not, I don't want to be judgmental of myself or any of us that have been through really dark and difficult and tough times, because that served a very important purpose until it no longer needs to be that dark and that much suffering for us to wake up, right?
Yeah. Darren, do you have any comments or questions before we shift gears?
No, we could probably shift gears. Yeah, we can. Let's shift over.
Well, really interested to hear about the Luminous blindfold perception training. So how did you?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get it. We got to get a little deeper, I feel like.
Let's get into that. How did you learn about that, and how did you sort of come into that whole paradigm?
Yeah, you know, being an OG truth seeker, I traveled around and studied with a lot of different teachers, and many of the other OGs that are listening to this probably hear about Drumbelow Melchizedek back in the day. So I went to his workshops, and in 2011, at one of his workshops, he was explaining that there's a group of super psychic kids in Mexico doing something called extraocular vision. And the way that my impression of it, anyway, I don't know if that's how he explained it, but my impression was like, oh, adults are too far gone. We can't do it. Which
That's what I think.
It's not true, because
that's what I think. Yeah.
Now we are having amazing results with all of our adult training. So we have adult programs now, and I can tell you more about that later. But the adults are like all activating left and right so fast now. But back in those days, it was like adults are too far gone. You get the special super psychic kids if they're innately talented to begin with, which is also not true because all of our kids get activated now. Back in those days, it was like super psychic kids with a specific training can learn to see blindfolded. So it's kind of in the back of my mind. And then fast forward 2013, I went to this beautiful meditation retreat in Thailand called the 11-Day Dark Room Retreat at Mantak Chia's retreat center in just outside Chiang Mai. And Jazz Muheen, who's, have you heard of Jazz Muheen? She's a famous, people call her a breatharian, but she doesn't like that term. She's a meditation teacher who's written 45 books or something like that. Okay. And she's very profound, deep, amazing being. So really one of my top most influential mentors in this lifetime, I would say. So at her dark retreat, I tapped into a lot of memories, a lot of beautiful states. And when I came out of that retreat, something happened where my intuition had like skyrocketed a whole different octave. So I came back to San Francisco, and I was in my Chinese medicine practice and noticing that I'm so much more open. I could see, sense, feel, and know things about my clients' health and just zero in really quickly. But at night, my intuition was extra strong, and I was hearing the cacophony of all my neighbors' thoughts and emotions. I didn't know how to turn it off. So it was crazy making, to be honest. It was like so loud and cacophonous. So my partner at the time, Dave, I told him, I can't tolerate living in the city. I got to move. So I moved to the countryside, like an hour and a half outside the city. And he was like, oh, I guess, do we have to break up? I'm like, maybe. But then he decided to move with me. So we moved to this little countryside cottage, small 1.5 bedroom. It's like one bedroom with a little office, little tiny cottage with an acre of land, lots of space, no 5G towers. We turn off the Wi-Fi hub whenever we're not using it. And as soon as we moved to that place, this little baby started jumping into my dreams every night, talking to me. and taking me cosmic traveling. I had all these like astral traveling experiences with this baby saying, hey, there's a new generation of children coming. Hey, I want you to be my mom. I was like, I wasn't planning for this. Like, so it was like, wow. I don't know if I'm going to be this kid's mom, but every night I really look forward to going to sleep because I would go traveling with this baby, showing me stuff, telling me things about the really exciting changes to come and all these beautiful children that are coming to Earth and showing the world a new set of possibilities. So there was this one night in which I was in a half-wake, half-dream state, like just about to fall asleep. And he showed this incredible scene to me. And I'm telling Dave, like, baby's here. He's like, oh, la, 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 I'm not ready for children. La, la, la. And I'm seeing this beautiful scene. All these babies, orbs of light, all connected by strings and strands of light. And he said, we're coming to Earth to blanket the Earth with a different consciousness. And each and every baby spirit has chosen precisely the mom, the dad, the time of incarnation, choosing exactly geographic location, the interconnections between all of us. And as we come up and get older, we're going to find each other and build networks of beautiful communities. And just so you know what you're choosing, you're not choosing to just do the nuclear family unit thing. You're choosing to participate in all of this. And he communicated that we're not going to philosophize about any of this stuff, This new generation of children, we're just going to show up in a different way. We're just going to do life in a way and show you a new possibility of what it's like to be a human. A new expanded set of possibilities. We're just going to show it to you. But in your currently dumbed down human state, I can't explain everything properly. So you kind of have to just take my word for it. Will you be my mom? While this is happening, the whole energy field was so pristine and beautiful. So I got a taste experientially of the quality of energy that this new wave of children would bring. And I hope it's not TMI with the boys, but my womb was getting an energetic upgrade. It was a very palpable womb energy change that was happening as this was all going on. My system was getting prepared to conceive such a child. So can you imagine Dave, who's he's not into metaphysical stuff. He's just a good dude that likes to fix up old cars and do gardening. He's a good handy guy. He's a pretty 3D guy. He's a good dude, but he's what is going on here? And because he's pretty sporty, he sometimes goes to yoga just to stretch out his body. So shortly after this incident, this whole cosmic communication, our boy jumped into his dream while he was in yoga class, laying down in Shavasana.
Wow.
And that's when he was like, okay. And so there was a certain moment in which we felt his strong presence in the house, and we felt oh, this is the moment he wants to be conceived. So there was this conscious conception experience where we felt that he wanted to come through. And as soon as he was conceived, it was this pulse of life in my womb space, like lungs. And so the whole way throughout the pregnancy, I knew I already was buddies with this kid, right? Because there had been so many months of traveling, just he was my cosmic tour guide. And now I get to be his earth tour guide, I felt.
Wow.
So he just would tell me, I want to eat food like this. I don't want to eat food like that. We had this telepathic communication all throughout pregnancy, all throughout his babyhood. Fast forward, well, let's see, chronologically, when he was about 3.5, he started saying, I have a sister. She's still in space. She has to come down. So we communicated with his sister, and then she was also conceived consciously in a similar way. And then when he was 5.5, Carolyn Corey's movie, Superhuman, came out.
Wow.
We watched it together, and he instantly said, Mama, I can do that. Let me take a class.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So Carolyn found this awesome teacher named Bodan, who has since become one of my dearest friends in the world. And because the world was shut down in 2020, we had to figure out how to do a class on the internet. Up until that point, I want to give deep respect and credit to all the pioneers of this work. Mindsight, extraocular vision, blindfold vision. There were pioneers that really innovated for a long time in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and so on. And clunkily figured out these methodologies. It's like, wow, children can see blindfolded. And later, a few adults were starting to see blindfolded. Like, wow, really exciting. But it used to take a lot of sessions. With children, it was like, it's very sensitive because the energetics of it, you're tapping into this super coherent flow state of expansive possibilities. So traditionally, it's like, moms and dads, get out of here. Don't interfere. Drop the child off for a private lesson. Doors closed, kind of secretive. You don't quite know what exactly happened for 10 or 12 sessions of private lessons. And now your child has superpowers. You get your child back. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's just like the parents are like, what just happened? But now he can do this or she can do this. Great. Well, when Bodan tried it on the internet through Zoom with a few of us families, it was incredible. It's like, wow, it is possible with a little help from the parents to activate these children across the internet through Zoom. And that moment where I saw my 5.5-year-old read blindfolded for the first time, it was, do you guys have children?
Darren does. I don't. Yeah.
That, or maybe you're an uncle, that first moment when a child walks across the room or like reaches out and says, Mama or Dada. It's a very emotional moment, you know? It's
Right
like
before
that.
they start trashing the place.
What's that?
The first steps are, you really regret those after the first week because now they're running everywhere, getting into everything.
Yes.
Like
Well,
a
that
year,
is
like
true.
6 months of just trashing the place.
How old is your kid?
My kids are all teenagers.
Oh, okay. Well, they're
Some of
crashing
them
the
are
place in
driving
a
now.
different
Yeah,
way now.
they've already trashed. They're trashing the place in different ways now.
Yeah. Good. Good. But you know, like every time your child has a new like leap, it's super exciting, you know? It's kind of emotional. So that first moment that your child activates a superpower, it's like, wow, you get to witness that is really, really sacred and special. So, so after that, like my child can read blindfolded. Like I'm telling friends and nobody, it's just like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's such a paradigm change. It really is. So let's just explain that a little bit for people. So when you say read blindfolded, you mean read blindfolded, right? So their eyes are blindfolded completely.
yeah, the
And
children's eyes are blindfolded. The students' eyes are blindfolded. I mean, I'm activated not at the level that my children, all these kids are, but yeah, I can put on a blindfold and see too. My windows of perceptions are a little bit small. Some of the children is like whole chunks of their blindfold as if it doesn't even exist, and it's just transparent. They see right through it. Yeah.
unbelievable. Okay, this is amazing. I feel like this is such an important topic. That's why I was really excited to talk to you too. But your story is amazing. But this is really, like, to me, one of the most important paradigm shifting topics because it's really physical, very scientific. You know, there was a video going around virally that I can't remember which podcaster it was, but it was a lady blind, all kinds of blindfolds on her. And he would just go into the other room and grab a book. She didn't know what book and just show it. And she would like read the titles of all these books. And
Is it Dahlia? Because some of her demonstrations she'll wear like 4 layers of blindfolds or 5 layers of
it
blindfolds.
might be, yeah.
Dahlia is our collaborator for all of our adult trainings because she has developed an amazing methodology. You know, people get skeptical, right? But she specializes in working with blind adults that have medical documents to show that they don't have working eyeballs. And many of these people have false eyes. And one of them, Sean, who is a frequenter at our workshops and a dear, dear friend and colleague, he has been willing to actually take out his false eyes just to prove to you, like, I don't have eyeballs and I'm seeing using my mind sight. So
Could
adults
he
are
see?
doing this now.
Could he see before? I was always wondering if blind people that could never see can begin to see, or if you had to sort of be able to see and then become blind. Is there a difference there between previous sight?
I wonder if you want to interview him directly, because
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to speak for him,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he did say that he started having eye issues when he was 4.
yeah.
But they didn't actually officially remove his physical eyes until he was 13.
Wow. Okay.
And so technically he was blind from age 4 to 13.
Yeah.
And he got the false eyes when he was 13. But then when he was 13, when he finally got his physical eyeballs replaced with false eyes surgically, he said that's when everybody said, like, oh, you can't do all this stuff. He was riding bikes and shooting hoops and stuff as a young boy growing up. But after 13, everybody just started saying, like, there's no way. And then he stopped being able to do that because all the adults around him said, you don't have eyes. There's no way you can play basketball. You can ride a bike. So he was having an intuitive vision skill all the way through until the world just kept convincing him he couldn't do it. And so that's what he has shared with me and with our private group. So, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, so you guys probably could interview him.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating. So now, as he's going through these mindset training programs with us and a lot of training with Dahlia, who's really specialized in this skill of working with blind people, he's starting to have incredible results where he can, it's not just seeing things that are in front of him, but his remote viewing skills are amazing. And is interesting. His color differentiation skills aren't as strong as if it's high contrast, like big shapes and block letters. He sees it. Like every time I've seen him demonstrate is 100% accuracy with shapes and letters.
It makes you wonder what they were doing when this wasn't like some fringe thing, when there was like entire parts of civilizations dedicated to cultivating these sorts of things.
Yeah, I've come to see, because people say, like, is this some like religious spiritual transmission? Because people hear about groups of in India that follow certain gurus that do this, and we're like, no. What we're doing is not about you're the guru. Everyone's a guru. You don't have to follow some guru and get some spiritual transmission. Although, because those of us that have this ability, we hold a very confident field that this is possible, which creates confidence for everybody else to unlock these abilities. But there's nothing really that particularly spiritual about this. It's more like, imagine if you lived in a world where people said, oh, humans can't swim because we're land animals. And a few people said, well, it seems like it could be fun if we like go play in the water and we, just kind of dip our toes in. We start doggy paddling. And eventually some people discover that, hey, maybe we can go surfing. Maybe we can go scuba diving. Maybe we can go rowing a boat or canoeing. And some people decide to build the Olympic sports around it and start doing, butterfly stroke and backstroke and all kinds of fun strokes, right? A whole world of possibility starts opening. But then most of the normie world still thinks that humans can't swim. Yeah. That's kind of like what's going on with this. Yeah, this is an innate ability we all have. Just give it a go and surprise yourself.
I don't think I'm terrible at remote viewing, and I just don't think I'd be good at it. I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but I feel like my thing is that kids would probably do a lot easier than adults. But me especially, I don't think I have the vision for it. But I have a question about the process. Is it a physiological thing? Like, are your cells sensing stuff, picking it up and transmitting it, or is it a completely metaphysical thing?
Okay, there's many layers and nuances, and we're starting to, this is a pioneering field, and there's a lot that we need to further understand about it. But now we're starting to see that there's a bunch of different stages and progressions. So let me backtrack for a second. What happened is that I became really good friends with Boudin. Can I go back to that progression of how we developed this methodology? I became good friends with Boudin, and I was feeling lonely because my child was like the only person we knew anywhere that could do this. And so meanwhile, because of my as you saw on my website, I have a whole body of work called Luminous Education Revolution that is all about this new generation of really amazing children, new approaches to education and parenting for this kind of child. So I get back together in contact with Bodan. I said, I have thousands of incredible families that are in my network, in my newsletter, in my community now that would really love this work. And I don't think we need to keep them out the door anymore. We can engage the families and teach them how to co-facilitate with us. So we completely reworked the whole methodology. Instead of 10 or 12 private lessons where the parents aren't really involved, we made it a 6-week program for the children where the whole first week and the whole 6 weeks is all about coaching the moms and dads and teaching them how to co-facilitate with us. And then the core 4 weeks, the parents co-facilitate every step of the way with us. And so there's 4 weekly classes where our trained facilitators, we're a team of 10 now. It used to just be me and Bodan. So our professional facilitators are on Zoom co-facilitating together with moms and dads. And in between, we give you suggested custom fun games to play in between classes. So during those 4 weeks, all these children activate these abilities, and moms and dads are part of the journey every step of the way. So many amazing byproducts are happening because the moms and dads are in this field of coherence and joyful play. And then the kids are like, Mom, Dad, why don't you put it on and try? And then moms and dads are starting to get activated in these little children's classes. And also all these, at this point, we've worked with 300 kids and families. And all these hundreds of families are in a community together. So these are really incredible families. Like many of them are longtime truth explorers. They are also have taken classes in remote viewings, or they have they're Reiki masters of Qigong practices, or they've been through their own journeys of mystical experiences. So it's a very specific, very advanced souls, you can call it, very advanced evolved souls that are in these families, So we give each other community support. And these are families that know that we're not muggles, that we're all wizards, and we have a whole shared understanding of the nature of reality. So really it's about the community that we've built up that keeps evolving. And so because of the caliber of families that are in our community, and this engagement with the moms and dads, they have iterated our methodology so fast that we've taken it octaves and octaves and octaves beyond what was previously even thought possible. So now our methodology is super tight, and we're getting results way faster than anybody had expected before by leveraging the kids, teaching us how to improve the methodology, the parents improving it. And now we have advanced trainings, level 2 trainings. We get the kids together who've graduated to invent new perceptive games and abilities. And they're absolutely blowing our minds with doing things that have never been documented to be done by human beings before, because we leverage the community like this. So I don't take any credit for it, but I'm at this kind of I rallied the crew together, and I'm documenting and refining the methodology. So there's a book that is going to come out shortly that is the refinement of this latest breakthroughs. And then more recently, working together with Dahlia, who specializes in adult blind trainings. She also has developed really refined methodologies, and we started putting our hearts and minds together to build really awesome adult programs. And everyone's getting activated. So Graham, I am absolutely confident if you came to one of our workshops that you'll have a really good, easy time getting activated.
I don't know. Maybe
getting triggered.
So
what's the upper limit of this stuff then, do you think?
What is the limit of it?
The upper limit, yeah.
What do you mean by limit?
Well, I mean, there's got to be some limits.
No limit.
No limit? I could just turn to a bird?
Well, okay, I don't know, but it's like any skill. I think we can be gentle with ourselves and have and appreciate that with any skill that you cultivate, there's a certain progression of development, right? So, there's some paradox too, because with our children's program, one of the first things that we say to the kids is like, hey kids, we're going to put on the blindfold and we're going to start by showing you some colors and see if you can identify the colors. Eventually we get to shapes. It gets more refined gradually over time. But the first lesson is just like, let's just play with colors, one color at a time. And then we go rapid succession. We might do 2 colors side by side this way or this way, and then 3, 4, 5. And then we start progressing into reading books and so on. But at first it's just one color at a time. And we tell the kids, you might be surprised that we're not concerned if you get it correct or incorrect. Don't worry about getting it correct or incorrect. What we want to learn is when you get it correct, what does that feel like? Somehow you just know it. What does that feel like to just know what the color is? Versus when you're overthinking, second guessing, that feels differently. So don't worry about getting it correct, but notice when you get it correct, how does that feel? And notice when it's incorrect. Sometimes if it's incorrect, the kids will get 10 in a row, the next color in the pile. So they have precognition.
You don't zap them or anything like in Ghostbusters if they get it wrong?
Yeah, child abuse. Yeah, the carrot versus the stick. We're into the carrot approach around here. So we celebrate a lot and we encourage the kids a lot, and we're careful to not say you're wrong. We're careful with how the words too. And so with this process, the parents co-facilitating with us, it actually really influences their parenting approach too. So instead of saying, no, that's wrong, we say, well, that wasn't green. That one was actually orange. Did you see an orange by any chance? And then the kid might be like, I saw orange. And then I started overthinking. I said green. It's like, okay, just notice that. Let's keep going. Like, so we never say that they're wrong. We just keep going. It's like, okay, you got that one right. Remember that feeling. What about this one? Yes, that's right. Remember that feeling. This one, yes. And they get to the point where they're tuned into what it feels like to know, so much so that they get 10, 20, 30, 50 in a row correct. You're like,
Wow.
okay, now you can't even get it wrong anymore. Good.
Wow, that's
Now let's
crazy.
progress to the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. That's kind of like, so we use a lot of positive encouragement. It's a lot of fun. It's basically a game-like form of meditation that gets people so locked into the super coherent flow state that they can't even get it wrong. And then, sometimes what happens is the parents start noticing if a skeptical uncle walks into the room, the child just shuts down. They can't do it. The uncle leaves,
Wow.
and then they can do it again. So the energy field is real sensitive as you're activating these abilities.
Which probably builds you up your sensitivity on auras and reading people as well, and picking up on energy with people. So what are some of the things you were saying that they're developing this process now at a different state? Can you give us a couple of examples of how you kind of mentioned they're developing perception?
Yeah, so we're starting to see amazing results very often in class number 1, what used to take many, many more lessons, 4 lessons or more to get to, for example. And it used to be that with adult training, it used to be that back in the day, the adults would sit with the blindfold for months before any opening starts. Now, more recently, many adult trainings are like 6 to 10 days long. But with Dahlia and my adult program is just 3 days long. And in those 3 days, we activate intuitive touch, intuitive smell, intuitive hearing, intuitive taste, intuitive, all these other senses that we kind of scaffold up to the intuitive vision abilities. But if we were just doing the visual one, there are some adults that we have protocols to get them to start seeing even as quickly as 10, 15 minutes.
What about other stuff though? Like chimps and stuff seem to have not really much bigger muscles than us, but they could 10 times as strong and stuff like that. Like, are we looking at other avenues of those sort of stuff as well? Because if I have a feeling it's not just that, it seems like these domesticated human line we've got, I feel like is falling short on a bunch of different things. It could be eyesight, hearing, taste, smell, strength, endurance. You have these tribes in Africa that run for fucking 3 days chasing down deer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess we're starting to bring that back in the West, sort of with marathon running, the ultra marathons and stuff like that. But what we find with these ultra marathon runners is that they just keep doing more and more. They do 150 miles, then they do 300 miles, then they do 500 miles, and nobody could do a 4-minute mile. Now everybody could. It's like a high school thing that you should be able to do a 4-minute mile. How long before it's a 3-minute mile? And so it's like, it seems like there's a dozen different directions that this could be going in.
You're so tapped in. That's right. This is just like a very, like, just the beginning of a whole worlds upon worlds of possibilities. Just to give some examples, with our children's program, we've had many children that had diagnoses of dyslexia. And then they put on the blindfold, and with the blindfold vision, they read fluently with no dyslexia.
Wow.
So there's like a tapping into a different brainwave state where we really feel that this is some kind of very direct, advanced, super coherent flow state training where we access an intuitive flow, where we bypass a lot of the clunkiness of the logical linear mind state where things are just not so efficient. So our children tell us like, oh, my soccer is great because once I open, with our training, we start to kind of train. Once they open one window, we get them bigger and bigger, 360-degree intuitive vision and perception. The children are saying like, I'm kicking ass with my soccer because I can see where the ball is at all times. Right. So their athletic ability skyrockets. The musician kids are like, yeah, when I put on the blindfold and practice my music, it just flows so beautifully. Or the artwork that I do, there's a different quality of magic and beauty and flow in my artwork. The children that have quote unquote ADHD diagnosis, because with this, we do this game-like form of meditation, and many of these children are very intuitively gifted, but they never have an opportunity or the support system to hone those gifts. So they sit in a public school classroom, and they're just bombarded with data streams of cacophony of like intuitive information about every kid that is in the room, what's going on with their family, and the teacher's saying one thing, but the teacher's mind is distracted. And also these kids, the veils are thin. So they know the true reality, and they see that in the public school system, they're teaching a bunch of lies. Of course you're going to have ADHD, right? Like, so the kids in this training, they learn how to hone their attention and their focus, and be able to kind of manage all of these gifts and be very intentional about how to focus their energies, right? So it's a kind of meditative practice, but we do it in a really fun game-like way, so it doesn't feel like boring, like sit in a yogic position and all day, right? We're playing games and we're honing their attention in very specific ways. So I think there are infinite possibilities that we're just starting to open into.
Yes. Wow. It's like, it is like superhuman. It really is like the title of Caroline Corey's movie, huge potential. Like, I don't think that there is a limit, like Darren was mentioning. I mean, there might be a limit to like vision, but it's going to incorporate all kinds of things in our lives.
I think there's a limit.
So the process, though,
because I look at it as more of, we've created a domestic version of humans. So I look at it as, I do think that there is some metaphysics in it for sure. But some of it could also just be innate abilities that should have some sort of limits,
like in our ancient,
yeah, like we're just running at like fucking 10%, we're like a chihuahua compared to a gray wolf or something sort of like that.
Yeah, it's true. But can I kind of challenge you a little bit, Darren?
Yeah.
You said, well, some of it might be innate, some of it might be metaphysical, as if those are different. We are innately metaphysical. It's the same.
Yeah, probably. But I don't think a chimp needs metaphysics to like rip a phone book in half. So I think there's still two different sort of tiers to it, because I think we're missing a bunch of physical stuff too. Like, I think if you threw some people in the woods straight up for for a couple generations, they would start to look different. You would just sort of like it. There's this, we're separate from nature sort of to a certain extent where these tribes don't seem to be, and even they seem to have it at a lesser extent, because even the like tribes were not contacting and stuff like that, they're still participating in civilization to a certain extent. They're relying on huge groups of the tribe to do these sorts of things. Whereas I think that there is a model of human being that's more like, I mean, we're pretty pig-like in a lot of ways. And when you throw a pig into the wild, within 3 years, that thing turns into a hog. It grows fucking horns. It gets twice as big. It grows fur. It turns into, for all intents and purposes, a different fucking animal just from not being domesticated.
Mm-hmm.
And we're way the fuck more domesticated than pigs are. You know what I mean? That pig's got a fence around it and it gets fed, and that's about the end of its domestication. Humans are like thousands of years into a domestication experiment that we don't know what the outcome of or what the cost was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we're 100 years into a purposeful
super
coming
domestication now.
Yeah,
you
like
know what I mean? Where like
where they're like, we don't want them to know what powers they have. I mean, I think there's really been a concerted effort to make sure we don't realize the metaphysical aspect of this reality.
Yeah, I want to kind of unpack the physical and metaphysical thing. There is with this, we're discovering there is a progression of things that happens. So with the mind sight, that particular skill is a light sensing ability. And what we're finding that for sure, when you're in a brightly lit environment, for some reason, your mind sight comes on really easily. When you're in a more dimly lit environment, it is trickier. So we think it's like, and also depending on the kind of blindfold that you wear, most of those blindfolds, especially on little kids' faces, covers up kind of a lot of the face. But we like using that one because it's just like, it's got the nice cutouts and it's comfortable. But have you heard of, there's one called the Manta Mask? It's like, it's got these like adjustable Velcro cups and it's much smaller. It's like a little band and it seals the eyeballs even better, but it's like a smaller band. And a lot of your forehead, a lot of your cheek is exposed. And it's just these little tiny eye cups and it's a band.
What if your third eye being exposed helps quite a bit, right?
Maybe. So the more of your head and face is exposed, our students are all sharing that their perceptions is easier. So that means that maybe part of the mechanism initially of this mindset activation is that your skin and your face gets exposed to visual and light information, and there's a way in which your brain can translate that into a visual image that you perceive. Because the more we've also tried, because with the scientific studies, I'm participating or consulting together with the CUSAC group, which is Dr. Tom Campbell's nonprofit. They have a whole mindset study, so I'm a consultant in their project. And so we're playing with different protocols of extending the mask because people are like, are the children just peeking under a crack or something? It's like, okay, what if we tape over any cracks? What if we extend it? Well, the more blockage there is, the more strenuous it is for the children and their perception and their windows. They tell us that it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, or it gets like harder and it takes a lot of energy and they get tired easily. The more the face is exposed to more light, they can perceive very easily. So I think part of this initial phase of activation is just like the skin being exposed to light information. Maybe. But then as we progress and we start training 360 degrees and some of the children get really good behind the head, like it's like, what's going on there?
Right.
And then we go further. We train them. Okay, now at first they are close up. They can perceive. Then we bring the object further and further. And then as it gets further, there's a little bit more energy and more strain involved. And then if they get tired, we just take a break. But then the next day you practice again, they go further and further and further. And then at some point you just sneak it behind the wall. Like the moms and dads will stand at the door jamb and be like, what color? What color? Let me just stick it behind on the other side of the wall. And now the children are just telling you the color on the other side of the wall. Okay,
Wow.
how about I give you a walkie-talkie? I'll go upstairs. What color is this? What color is this? Now the children are remote viewing. And then we go across the world on Zoom and like, what about this guy in Canada? What about me in California? And then they see what I'm hiding under the table. So it just like kind of bleeds into remote viewing in this natural
Interesting.
progression. These are
Wow.
adjacent skills, but there's like a really smooth continuum of how these skills transfer. And then with all these senses activating, especially with our adult training and with our kids' advanced programs, we also have intuitive smell, intuitive hearing, intuitive sensing, all these other intuitive circuitries waking up. Many people are having increased telepathic experiences.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like, to your point, Darren, there's like the physical component kind of like as you open back up, it goes into the metaphysical component.
Wow. Such a
And now we're
good way.
having dreams of all traveling to the hill and meeting these autistic gifted children, teaching us lessons on the hill. It bleeds into these kinds of more metaphysical experiences.
That's a great way to describe it. Wow. Because I was going to ask about if, like, I have this crystal mask. Sorry, it's like, I can't remember. It's got hexagonal, I can't remember the black crystal, and you're supposed to put it on to help you relax and stuff like that. But I wondered if any materials block the ability, you know, whether it's plastic or rubber or crystal or lead. I mean, if you guys have experience with different types of masks, but the way you just described that process kind of, you know, negates that question, because it seems like either way, it sort of progresses outward.
We do notice every time you train with a different mask, it takes a little bit of time to adjust to that setup. You know,
Okay.
like there's these triggers that you get used to, like, oh, I have trained myself every time I put on this kind of mask, I take a deep breath and boom, I just start perceiving. That when you switch a different mask, there's like a little bit more practice time to like get used to your perception with that other mask.
Okay.
Eventually we just get to the point where we put on a mask and it's that's why you don't, those of you that are wanting to practice this, you don't want it too tight because you want it loose enough so you literally just forget that you're even wearing a mask. You're having fun playing these intuitive games and you forgot that you're wearing a mask. That's what we want.
Yeah. So I hate to ask this question, but has there been any, I mean, it's hard to imagine, I don't even know if we should go there, but just, has there been any, anybody pushing back, any kind of like people like going, you guys shouldn't be doing this? And like, cause I mean, I'm sure that the powers that be, I mean, we're all, you know, we're in the matrix. We kind of know there's a power structure there. Has there been any evidence of people trying to, take this down?
We have been very blessed. So far, it's mostly people being like, I feel skeptical. I need more scientific proof to really believe this.
Yeah.
You know, so then we end up spending a ton of time and energy like working with that skeptical mind. Which is why I think the way that we've landed on our adult program is really beautiful. Because we could get people to see with their mindset really quickly, but we have the intuitive sensing, intuitive hearing, intuitive smell, all these other exercise, plus spoon bending, sticking coins on the wall, sticking coins on the ceiling, sticking spoons and other objects on the wall, and magnetizing metals. And I won't give away the other fun surprise Easter egg type activities we do in these workshops. What the reason for that is that with adults that have been programmed, we need is not that we can't quickly start seeing, is that once we start seeing them, we got to make up some story like, oh, I must have been cheating. Oh, it's blah, 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 blah. I won't believe it. I'm not happy unless I have a proper scientific explanation. We make up all these reasons why we can't just like joyfully relax into the fact that we are amazing. We are all superhuman, but we come up with so many just like cacophony of stories around why we can't just be happy that we're all wizards and superhumans, you know? So because we play all these other games, we start to kind of laugh at ourselves a little bit because you'll see in these workshops, the same person will keep saying, yeah, but it's like, there you go with your yeah, but yeah, but what's the scientific explanation for this? It's like, dude, you just bent a spoon. Like, just celebrate and enjoy it, man, you know? Or like you just magnetize metal and here you are picking up a paper clip with a knife And let's see if I can show you. Oh, it keeps falling because I'm under pressure. You saw that?
Yeah.
This is
saw
a
that.
little
Yeah.
piece of nail that I had magnetized with a knife. So yeah, everybody does these things in our workshops. And then some people are like, wow, that's so cool. But some people are like, what's the scientific explanation? I'm not going to be happy unless, and then we just laugh like, there you go again. And then there are some people that run the pattern that I'll be happy if I can do the next thing. Like you just did something superhuman, but you refuse to be pleased with yourself unless you progress to the next advanced level. And then you progress to that next advanced level and you say the same thing again. You're like, well, I'm not going to be happy unless I have 360-degree perception. I'm not going to be happy unless I'm 100% accurate with remote viewing, right? It's just like, are you ever going to be happy? So people will keep bumping into like, yeah, well, I feel like I totally believe this is possible, but I'm going to be the only one in the whole class that can't do it. People will say stuff like that. And they'll say stuff like that with every single activity. Yeah. So what happens in these days together, we discovered like, oh, we all run these limitation programs. That's just a program. You can take a deep breath and let that story go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
You are amazing. We're all amazing. It's time to let go of these limitation programs. These are like conditioned into us. We don't need to hang on to these stories anymore. So these trainings, it turns out it's not even about blindfold vision or spoon bending or any of that. It's about returning to our natural state of awesomeness and being content with ourselves. I know it sounds cheesy. It turns into a game of really self-love and self-compassion. You know, like it's okay to be happy with yourself.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Do you do Qigong training too, as well? Like, do you have that on your website as well?
Yeah. So in my community, every Thursday night, we gather at 6 p.m. Pacific live. I have a membership called Inner Energy Mastery, where all the people that show up live can make special requests, like whatever energetic blocks that you feel like you could use some support with. You place the order, you place the request, and then we customize the whole meditative practice based on whoever's joining live. Okay. And then they're all recorded. So at this point, you know, anybody that joins that membership can have access to 250, maybe 300 meditations that are all different themes. So you can click on whichever themes that are resonating. For example, a couple of weeks ago, we had one that came through. We were just talking off camera. The theme was attention wizards, quit pretending to be a muggle. That was like the theme of the meditation that comes through. And so we're doing breathing and Qigong practices, but it's a lot of joy and it's a really beautiful community experience. So yeah, excellent. I welcome anybody who feels called to join us.
All right.
Excellent. Is there any place else people can follow your work or track you down? Or do you have the link to that movie handy? We'll probably put that in the show notes again, right, Graham?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. My website is dredithubuntu.com. That's spelled Dr. Edith, Edith. Ubuntu is spelled Ubuntu.com. I'm saying it out loud in case people are on audio and can't see the screen. But
yeah, that's exactly what we want. But yeah, and a lot of people will put it all in the show notes too, but then like half the people never check the show notes. So we just like to mention it here.
Yeah, dredithubuntu.com. That's my website. But if you're specifically interested in blindfold vision work, go just straight to blindfold.vision. And that will take you to the part of the website where you can explore the kids and families program, our adult training programs, and coming very soon in July, we're going to have a facilitator program for people all across the world. I know you have a super international audience who would like to learn our very efficient methodology. I'd like to say that it's a very mature and efficient methodology we've put together now, which is different from the previous one. So total respect for all the pioneers that built the various methodologies. And because of our hundreds of families that helped us refine the process, we have a very different approach now that I think it's just time to make it simpler and quicker and easier for everyone. So if you're interested in becoming a facilitator and starting your own local kids programs using this methodology, that's coming soon in July. So check out blindfold.vision and check out all the different offerings there.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Dr. Edith Ubuntu, thank you for coming on the show. Come back anytime and keep up the good work.
Yeah, this is super important work. It's game changing.
I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you both for the epic, mind expanding conversations that you guys host here week after week, month after month, year after year. I really appreciate them. The anchoring in of a beautiful reality that you guys are all part of too. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. Thanks.
We try to enjoy the sunshine. It's a blizzard here today. So back to the blizzards. Dr.
Thanks.
Edith,
Thanks, Dr. Edith.
Day. And that was a chat with Dr. Edith Ubuntu. What'd you think? That was a good one.
Mind blown. That was one of my favorites.
How long ago was that Caroline Corey one?
I would say 4 years, maybe 5 years. I can look it up quickly.
Was it that long? Big thanks to Dr. Edith for coming on the show. Big thanks to you guys for listening. Even bigger thanks if you're the plus, not the plus, the people who support the work.
September 2020. September
2025, almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. Maybe we'll have to do that one again too. But yeah, extra big thanks to the 1% of you that do support the value for value model of the show, where we just keep doing it all for free in the hope that some of you will find some value from the show and decide to send some value back our way at grayamerica.ca/support. Tell your friends, sign up for a monthly, make a one-time donation, whatever you want to do. Of course, check out Gray America Outlawed for other podcast, contact at thecabin.com for trips and events, adultbrain.ca for all the audiobooks, disastermap.ca, ufomap.ca for the cataclysm and UFO enthusiasts. I think there's almost 750,000 UFO sites to peruse there. So check that out. That'll keep you busy for a couple days. Other than that, we love you guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
So many cigarettes.